Hello, welcome back to CJ's Angels Messages from your angels. So I'm going to be doing a message for Cancers today. Hello Cancer, I hope everybody has had a good morning so far. So we have the Four of Swords. Solitude, self-love and recovery. So you've been doing some healing lately, or self-recovery to, to come to terms with something that you are not quite sure of, or something that you've had to let go of. You're moving forward. You're praying and hoping and wishing for something to come about. We have the Tower, obviously. You've had a lot of change in your life, sudden change, something that you wasn't actually expecting. You feel like you've had a fall from grace, or there's just, it's not very good. Things are falling falling down around you. That's how you're feeling. But there's all new beginnings. Ace of Pentacles, all new beginnings, all new opportunities. The world is your oyster, as I am getting. It could be to do with a job. Look, the Magician, there you go. See, you've got everything that you need to move forward and to let go of recent hurts, recent parts, recent things that do not serve you. You have all the tools in your box. You can make happen what you want to happen very quickly, actually. So, there's no worrying, no stressing. You've gone through a lot. You've gone through a lot of change. You've gone through some worries, some stresses, some things that you didn't see coming, but there's nothing to worry about, because everything will work out in your favour. And whatever does happen, it is forever. The infinity sign. We have see the other person's point of view. So obviously there was a disagreement, there was an upset, so sometimes it's good to look at the other person's point of view, because maybe there's something that you need to hear, something that you need to listen to, that you're not quite understanding or not quite getting. You could have lost some friends, you could have lost someone close to you. It could have been a job, could be a relationship, could be friendships. Opportunity. So there's an opportunity for you to make good of the situation. As it says, the situation will improve. So there's obviously opportunities for you to come to terms with whatever it is that is holding you back. It's time to move on and up now. And you have the tools to do that. You know what to do. It's just you've got to put into action what it is that you need to be done. Unknown territory. You are exactly where you need to be. So at the moment, obviously, you're in unknown territory. So it's things that have happened to you that you're not, that haven't happened before. You've got a lot of wisdom around you. You've got to learn a lot of wisdom. There is light at the end of the tunnel there. Sometimes, like, you felt frozen out, you felt pushed out. You have got some guidance and some angels around you and people that help. We have passion and pleasure, savor your life. So whatever was, you need to let go of, and whatever will be, you need to savor it. So it is looking for the future. Looking through what has happened and letting go of it, and having the celebrations that is on their way to you. You've realised where you went wrong. It's like the gypsy in you. Maybe go on, maybe you might be thinking about travelling, you know, start something new, go somewhere new, because, you know, maybe you're just sick and tired of where it is that you are at. You know, you need that stability, harmony and flow. You know, that seems to be that is what you're looking for. You know, you need to look after yourself, self-care. You know, maybe go for a Reiki session or something. You know, Ace, water, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. So maybe there's someone in your life that resembles with that, with those star signs, water. You know, that's all new beginnings. So someone might come into your life, a new person who is a water sign. You know, maybe that is the person that will help you stabilize maybe your thoughts and your old patterns. See, obviously, there you go. We also have that, you know, you're fearing moving on. You know, you've had a lot of stresses and worries, and you're not feeling safe. And that is how you have been feeling. You know, it seems like you've been having a lot of time on your own. You need to reset your own thinking, your own body clock, that says to me. You know, big changes ahead. Big changes, you know, moving fast. You're being impatient, you know, so patience is what you need to move forward at this time. You know, you need to talk it out. So maybe going for some counselling may help. You're seeing a therapist. You know, there's a male figure in your life or around you. Not in the Ace of Cups. So there's all new beginnings with someone who's older, a mature person, very compassionate, you know, very understanding, is very tolerant, or has been very tolerant. So maybe it's a person that sticks up for you. Maybe a family member, maybe a close friend. You know, but there's it's a new beginning in your life around this person. Or it may be a new, yeah. Could be somebody coming in, you know, there's new beginnings, opportunities. There's also pregnancy and fertility on the cards. You know, pregnancy could symbolise someone being pregnant or somebody giving birth, new opportunities. That are being open to you. So facing my shadow removes darkness from the world. So facing up to your own misdemeanors. I trust in my gifts, you know, so maybe you are good at something. So maybe you need to look at starting something new with your own gifts. Bring them out of the woodwork. Start to shine your light on yourself. Take the weight of the world off your shoulders. You need to put behind you the things that do not serve you anymore. So we have failure. I understand that the mistake is only an opportunity to learn. We have health. I will honour the physical vessel that enshrines my soul. So it is time to heal yourself and release all the negative attitudes, anything negative that has been in your life. You need to release it and start fresh. And you have the courage to do that. I find the inner strength to face fear with confidence. And you have that in yourself to move forward. Trust yourself. Always trust others once they've earned it. So don't give your trust away too soon. You know, they must show you first that they are trustworthy. Say goodbye to your past and leave the baggage behind for good. You know, so if you've been in a relationship that is just to and from, to and fro, it's not good. You need to release that. You need to move on, because that is not good for your soul, and it's also not good for either of your soul. You need to move on, start afresh. What has your inner voice been asking of you? Listen and act. So you're not listening to your own intuition there. So listen to your own guidance, listen to your own authoritative voice talking to you, which is your guardian angels, and you will get further. So we have: develop an attitude of gratitude and give thanks for everything that happens to you, knowing that every step forward is a step towards achieving something bigger and better than your current situation. So that is your gratitude card and your message from your guardian angels today. I hope you have a wonderful week. Please do take care, Cancer babies.